So you want to learn a new language. It's a dream for so many of us, right? But the second you start looking for advice, you're hit with this fire hose of conflicting info, weird gimmicks, and promises that just seem way too good to be true. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and give you a clear, honest, and actually effective roadmap.
Okay, let's just dive right in by getting real. You've seen the clickbait. Get fluent in 3 months. But here's the thing our sources are super clear on. Setting false expectations like that, it's absolutely deadly to your motivation. The honest-to-goodness reality is that real progress takes time. Think more like 6 to 9 months for a language like Spanish or French, and yeah, closer to 2 years for something like Japanese or Mandarin. Knowing this upfront is your first real step to success.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll get our mindset right. Then, we'll build a super solid foundation. After that, we're going to cover a powerful immersion method to just soak up the language. And then, we'll talk about how to find your voice and actually start speaking. And finally, we'll get into the real secret to making it all stick.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the dream versus reality. This is all about shifting your perspective from the get-go.
This whole idea really comes from the story of a learner named Rohan. He started out trying to be perfect, you know? He'd practice ordering a coffee in his head over and over just to completely panic at the counter. His huge breakthrough came when he realized language isn't some performance for an audience. It's a messy, personal, and kind of fun process of discovery. The moment he started having fun with his mistakes, everything changed.
So, with that process over perfection mindset locked in, let's look at how to build a solid foundation. These are your first, most crucial steps.
The first question is always, which language? And honestly, the answer isn't about what's going to impress people the most. As a beginner, you should pick a language that's easy enough for you to actually enjoy learning it. Seriously, if you treat it like a chore, you're never going to stick with it. Motivation is absolutely everything.
And you can see here, for English speakers, languages like Spanish or French are in that easiest category. Starting with one of these helps you build momentum and get those crucial early wins that keep you fired up, instead of just hitting a wall with a tougher language right out of the gate. All right, here's your beginner's toolkit. First, get a good textbook, a physical one, or even a PDF. It'll give you a solid structure that those slow-moving apps often lack. Second, your only goal is to get a handle on the basics of making simple sentences. That's it! Don't overthink it. And third, and this is a great tip, type your notes. You rarely write by hand anymore, but you type every day, so learning the foreign keyboard is a surprisingly useful skill.
Okay, once you've got those basics down, it is time to level up. This next section is all about the input immersion method. Basically, how to surround yourself with the language and just let your brain soak it all up naturally.
This first technique is a total game changer. Learn in chunks, not just single words. Language expert Elise de Vega compares this to meal prepping. Think about it. If you only learn the single word for to cry, you have to build the whole sentence and its grammar from scratch every single time you speak. But if you learn a whole phrase, you've already pre-cooked the sentence.
Just look at the difference here. Instead of just memorizing the single word, you learn the whole chunk. Don't cry. In one go, you've learned the word, the correct verb form, and the negative command. You're learning grammar and vocabulary all together, which is exactly how native speakers think.
Next up is shadowing. I'll admit, it feels a little weird at first, but it is so incredibly effective. You literally just listen to a native speaker and repeat what they say as they're saying it. This trains your mouth muscles and your ear at the exact same time. It forces your brain to process the language at natural speed, and it will dramatically improve your accent.
And here's a fantastic way to make practice feel less like, well, studying. Language coach Brian Wilds calls it the walking technique. Just put on a podcast, go for a walk, and relax. As you're listening, just quietly repeat phrases you catch. This super low-pressure environment helps the information sink into your deep memory, and it turns the habit of daily listening into something you actually look forward to.
YouTube is one of the best free language schools in the entire world, but only if you use it correctly. The key rules: watch stuff you actually find interesting. Use captions, but only in the language you're trying to learn. And the biggest rule of all, never, ever use English subtitles. That's just reading in English. Your goal should be to hang out in that sweet spot where you understand about 30 to 70% of what's being said.
Okay, so you've been listening, you've been shadowing, you've been absorbing the language. Now comes the part that kind of scares a lot of people, turning all of that passive knowledge into the active skill of speaking.
The good news is there are a ton of ways to do this, no matter your budget or comfort level. You can hire an affordable tutor online, find a free language exchange partner, or just practice with a friend. But you know, one of the most powerful and underrated methods? Just talk to your camera. Seriously. Describe your day and then watch it back to find the words you were missing. And this is the crucial point. You can't wait until you feel ready. Remember Rohan? His big breakthrough only happened when he started using the language, not just studying it. All that vocabulary you have stored up in your brain will only come to life when you try to use it in a real conversation, no matter how clumsy it feels at first.
And you will make mistakes. Oh yeah, lots of them. But you have to completely reframe what a mistake is. It's not a failure, it's just a data point. When a native speaker corrects you, you're so much less likely to make that same mistake again. Mistakes are literally the building blocks of progress. This brings us to our final and, I think, most important section. We've talked about what to do and how to do it, but the biggest challenge of all is simply sticking with it. So the secret is to redefine what consistency even means. It's not about forcing yourself to study for an hour every single day, no matter what. That just leads to burnout. True consistency is about having a flexible system that allows you to meet yourself where you are. The real goal is to always do something rather than breaking the chain and doing nothing.
This brilliant concept is called an energy menu. On your high energy days, talk with a tutor. On medium energy days, maybe just review some flashcards. And on those really low energy days, just listen to music or a podcast while you do the dishes. It all counts. This is exactly the kind of flexible approach that would have helped Rohan avoid getting discouraged after that stressful cafe experience. It would have kept him in the game for the long haul.
You know, when we look back at Rohan's journey, we see this entire process in action. He started with just a single word. He had an early failure that taught him a really valuable lesson. Little wins, like finally understanding a movie scene, kept him going. And it all led to that breakthrough moment where he could actually help someone in Spanish. See? Fluency wasn't some big event. It was the quiet result of an enjoyable, consistent process.
So forget about becoming fluent overnight. Just embrace the process, have fun with the mistakes, and build a flexible system that actually works for you. If you do that, it's not a question of if you'll learn a language. It's just a question of when. The only question left is, what new world will you unlock?